Hi! If you're looking for a grimdark historical fantasy with meddling gods and an anti-hero, then you need to read The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is the first book in the Poppy War trilogy, with all three books being completed and already out. As you can see, we don't own the physical copy of this book here at Tyrrell. However, you can request it from one of the other libraries in our region, like Washington or Shepherd Pruden. Or if you would like to access the electronic version or listen to the audiobook, you can access the Libby app from the link provided in the caption of this video. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's get on to the book description. This is an epic historical military fantasy inspired by the bloody history of China's 20th century. When our main character Rin aces the Kudju, the empire-wide test to find the most talented youth to learn at the academies, it was a shock to everyone. To the test officials who couldn't believe that a war orphan from Rooster Province could pass without cheating, to Rin's guardians who believed they'd finally be able to marry her off to further their own criminal enterprise, and to Rin herself, who realized that she'd finally be free of the servitude and despair that made up her daily existence. And the fact that she got into Sinagard, the most elite military school in Nikan, was even more surprising. But surprises aren't always good, because being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south was not an easy thing at Sinagard. After being targeted by rival classmates for her skin color, poverty, and gender, Rin discovers she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. Exploring the depths of her gift with the help of a seemingly insane teacher and psychoactive substances, Rin learns that gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that mastering control over these powers could mean more than just surviving school. For while the Nikata Empire is at peace, the Federation of Mugen still lurks across the Narrow Sea. The militarily advanced Federation occupied Nikan for decades after the First Poppy War, and only barely lost the continent in the Second. And while most people are complacent to go about their lives, a few are aware that a third Poppy War is just a spark away. And Rin's shamanic power might be the only way to save her people. But as she finds out more about the god that has chosen her, the vengeful Phoenix, she fears that winning the war might cost her her humanity, and that it may already be too late. Now, I do have to warn any potential reader that you may want to check the trigger warnings on this book because it does explore some dark themes and can go into quite graphic detailing. But I will say this, I don't typically insert my own personal opinions into these videos because I like to provide unbiased information. However, I will with this book because it is one of my favorites. So just know that in my opinion, it is very good. And I highly recommend the audiobook because the narrator did a fantastic job. And when I read this book, that was my preferred method. So, if any of that interested you, then check this book out on the Libby app or request it from one of the other libraries in our region. Okay, bye!